Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zah back at you. Anyways, man, let me just get into what I want to talk about. But before that, man, I'm just gonna say it like this. I would love to jump on here and talk about, more positive things and to try to get people to shift their mindset to a certain way. Like I said, I've never been on here to be no inspirational speaker, because I know at the end of the day nobody can really make you do what you don't want to do. So I don't try to push that. I've seen older cats do that, try to enforce their will upon their homies because their mindset has changed and their homie is still out there living wild. It's like you can't really control that, and all you do is create animosity amongst your hood, or not even necessarily amongst your hood, but between older generation and a younger generation. So all I try to do is give people the downside. I give them the truth and the downside of pursuing certain actions, and let them know exactly where they're going to end up if they continue to follow that line. But I don't persecute them or try to down talk them because they're young and they want to be wild just like we were when we were at their age. You know what I mean? Yeah, but that's besides the point. What I really want to talk about is because I just seen that interview that they had. I like to watch 23andOne. His interviews are interesting, and for the most part, you know what I mean? He kind of brings out things in certain cats, and then you get a better understanding about an individual. And see, the thing about his channel is, even though some of the dudes that he's interviewed are PCs, he doesn't place himself in that space to where he's really choosing sides. It's a story for his channel, and his viewers like to listen to it. And for the most part, some of them actually gravitate to the fact that an individual has somewhat changed their life. But I'm here to burst a few bubbles. Like I said, I never really could understand why people interview PCs, but then I get it. You know what I mean? It's not only to create content for your channel, but to kind of expose fools and then get an idea of exactly where they're coming from. On my channel, that will never happen because that's just me. You know what I mean? But I understand why people do it now, you know what I mean? And it's kind of good because there's a lot of cats that are undercover that you would never know otherwise, except the real ones that understand their rhetoric leads to a certain, so you can kind of tell, you know what I mean? But that's beside the point. But there was a couple individuals on there. One of them, I ain't gonna even address him because dude is goofy as hell. But another one I had actually addressed dude on my channel, and there was a lot of backlash. Cats were talking about dude was an OG. Look, I'm just going to put something out there. At the end of the day, a 2.5, a dropout, anybody that's been on the SNY yard, the reason I can't really respect you, not because you chose to go that route. You're entitled to your own choice as a man to where you want to end up. See, but the reason I take offense to it is because people actually praise these guys like they're actually some type of god or whatever. These guys didn't change their life. They didn't do nothing that would benefit that type of praise. Just because people speak with a few proper words and they've studied vocabulary. See, that's the crazy thing, because psychology in prison at one time was praised as the way to go in order to further your mind. But the CDC start not letting people out due to the fact that they study psychology, because psychology just basically made you a better criminal because you're able to utilize different words in order to manipulate people into believing that they hear something that's actually worth something. And when I hear these guys talk on social media and try to give all the their input on the difference between GP and Mainline and all this, never once. That's why I understand why people praise them, because never once have I ever seen them say anything that would benefit the youth. That never benefit nobody. Basically, they're disgruntled employees. They'll utilize any word that they can in order to turn it on somebody else. They're basically doing what we do, but we're justified in it just due to the fact that we still stay in our position and do what we have to do, regardless of the fact. All these dudes are doing is giving the youngsters an outlet. So it's basically like, do the crime, whatever, go to prison. You don't have to really worry about dealing with this because you can always lock it up. Only thing that's going to lead to is your children being killed, because no matter what the situation is right now, things always revert back to a certain thing. People are like, oh, California, it's been a long time coming to shift the mentality. It's never going to shift. Certain things may be done, and certain things might be swept up on the rug as far as not dealt with in the moment, but I can guarantee you things will shift in a certain way. And most of these cats that think along that mindset of that they've got away with what they did, nah, you slowly pay. You just don't see it right now. But that's besides the point. My whole thing is like these dudes praising these 2.5s. Look at if you can show me one cat that's a PC or a 2.5 that actually gave you some advice that could benefit you, all they do is basically point fingers at the next one. See, now if they actually went to that yard, better themselves, and try to become something else, as far as like you know, a different mindset and changing their life for the better, then I could understand that. But most of these guys be on the internet getting into argument with other cats on the internet because they don't follow their same rhetoric. It's like, if you're a PC and I don't like you because you're a PC, that's just my choice. But these cats get mad and the first thing they do is want to make little threats. Oh, I do this, I do that. Where's the change in that? All these kids, all these dudes are doing is just giving you, not even you, they're giving your the people that's coming up in the next generation an outlet. And that outlet will eventually get them killed. And that's the sad part. Never once do you hear these guys talking about bettering their life. It's always a conflict with somebody else, and they always got something to say about an individual car. And at the end of the day, it's like this. You couldn't hang. You couldn't stay with what you represent. So when these cats talk about honor, they have no honor. You're giving these dudes outlets, and some of these cats can kill people's family members. Some of these cats can rob certain, you know what I mean? It's just like, let me just go back to what I was saying. Basically, look at the end of the day, when you give praise to these cats, you kind of sound stupid. This means you can basically be brainwashed off of anything. If an individual is on the street killing people and then go to jail and realize that he doesn't want to accept the consequences of his actions, and shit gets a little bit too hard from the yard, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to go to the S&Y yard because it's easier. How can you find any honor in that? Now, some of the cats that find religion and they find God, that's the only way that I can see you really finding a way out of it. You find God, and you become one with yourself and start to understand the way life moves, you know what I mean? And that you have to better yourself, have to think in a different mindset. But these guys are talking about going to a whole nother yard, joining a whole organization. You had one dude talk about it's chaos in this. Yeah, okay, so basically you went to a yard where it was anarchy, where you still got Chesters roaming the yard, you still got rapists still run, and what's the only thing that happens to them? Maybe you exploit them, maybe you tax them and take their money. You're doing the same exact thing that you proclaim the other side is doing. The only difference is the cats that stay solid are the ones that accept the consequences. They understand at the end of the day that they may never make it out of prison due to the consequences of what they did on the street. That's being honorable. Understanding, it's like my pops has said, if you're in a situation till you can't get out of it, you must accept your consequences. And that's what every dude does when he goes to prison. You got caught, you couldn't beat it, you accept your consequences. You know it's gonna be dangerous, but you didn't worry about it on the street when you was robbing, stealing, doing drugs, and practically doing things that were more detrimental to other people than yourself. You was out there wilding, you got caught up, you must accept your consequences. And that's a part of being a man. You have no choice. Accept your consequences, change your life, get out, and take responsibility for yourself. And a lot of cats get out of jail, and they're not recidivistic. They're not going back. They get out, they get their family, they're doing their thing. And for the ones that do, they've been institutionalized, and there's just no getting beyond that. Some get multiple chances in order to get out and change their life and eventually find that route. Some guys have been in and out of prison for most of their life, and then they finally find God. It don't matter if it's Allah. It don't matter if they believe in Jesus, Jehovah, Seventh-day Adventist, but they found something that they could really focus on. And some, do it just to make it out easier, but even them in the waste found God in a sense, you know what I mean? And I'm not here to preach religion or nothing. I'm just saying I can accept that more from an individual, because that's a righteous way to go than for you to go out backwards and then blame the other side for your misgivings and constantly come on here and down talk. Look at, I don't need to come on here and justify different cars. Every car in prison will do what they do. That's the part that's a part of going to prison. You went to prison. You didn't want to mind people on the streets. You want to run wild. So you come to prison and you find structure. You must always, that's a part, if there was no rules, people would be getting raped and all types of stuff. But it's rules set down just to prevent certain things of that nature. You think like you're the only ones that have suffered hardship. There's people that have got stabbed multiple times and they're still on the main line because they choose to be there. As far as like the politics now, as far as like GP, Mainline, SNY, and certain yards being mixed up, I have nothing to really say about that because I'm not in prison no more. But when I was in prison, that shit just did not go down. And for the people that try, oh yeah, well the SNY yard is just like the GP. Why? How? You got rapists on your yard. You got child molesters on your yard. You got some dudes that have did some way out stuff. And the only way you can really say that, and don't get me wrong, there's stickings on that yard, but why couldn't you do stickings on the main line? Why go to a yard where people feel fear for their life in order to go over there and victimize them? You talk about other organization victimizing their people in the yard, but yet you went to another yard, joined another organization, and victimized people over there. You have changed nothing. You had one dude talk about, if you get in and you got to have this and you got to have that, so when you get out, you got to take your lumps. That's anything. It's the same with prison. Do your time. If you run with this organization, get out, change your life. You ain't got to worry about it. But if you become a 2-5 and all that, it's like you just left one organization to fall up on another one. That's not a character of a strong individual. That's a character of a weak individual. You know what I'm saying? It's like you left one only to join another because you couldn't stand on your own 2 feet. It ain't about camaraderie and all this bullshit they put in on social media about, oh yeah, we're like this and we think. No, you still victimize your people. You're still trash. There's no way you cut it that you're not trash. Changing your life, like I said, is for the cats that found religion, they found God, and they're out there really trying to help the community. You got these cats that are trash, want to be rappers, they stay on social media because they want to invigorate their career, because at the end of the day, nobody really cares about them. You can't be an OG, you can't be a righteous dude if you locked it up. Oh, well, there's no curfew on this shit. Nah, come on, get up out of here, man. Or we don't function like that. Like, okay, put this to the side. This is more, I won't say necessarily a rant. It's just like, I just get tired of people talking about their side like it's better, but it's not. At the end of the day, the honorable thing to do is to take your ass to jail if you have to and handle your business. Don't soften up just because shit get hard. You chose that route. If you were a knucklehead in prison, you know the consequences of being a knucklehead. You're probably gonna get smashed on. You probably gonna get stuck a few times, but that's what you choose. I ran into a lot of knuckleheads that are still good on the main line, and they were just fools. But eventually they had to calm down because you cannot go against the ocean. Plain and simple. I see other cats on other channels don't understand our politics as far as like California, but it's not on you to understand our politics. You are not from California, so it doesn't matter what you understand. If you're not a gangbanger, if you're not from California, if you don't believe in structure, then of course you're not gonna understand. But there's structure in California. Yeah, and it breaks up by races. Doesn't mean everybody's racist, just you follow your own. When you're individual like me, you follow loyalty. My loyalty is to the S. It always has been, always will be. So I'm always gonna follow my homeboys, regardless. There's no getting around it. There's no downplaying it. It's crazy because I remember a dude from 40 Avalon, the homie from 6-0 that I knew. These dudes used to tell me like, hey, you know what, blacks don't never switch up, because if you do, we gotta smash them. You see you in the pen, you switch stuff. But they know I wasn't, but that was just that extra little, like a little brotherly love, like, hey, fool, keep that shit solid. And I chose to. Doesn't mean that what I did as being a gangster is honorable. Honorable is taking care of your family, not putting your mom and everybody else through drama, not having to have people take care of you in prison because you're unable to take care of yourself. An honorable thing is avoiding all that bullshit, finish school, get your career, and be more productive in society. But if you fail to do that, then you must live with what you created. And a lot of us live with the creation of being that person. It's not to keep up a persona. You got fools out here that really got problems in the head, and they react to them. There's fools that, it's like my mom said, I'm an aggressive person. I've always been aggressive, and that's just passed down through the lines. Fools in multiple family members in prison, and just my pops taught me that you get these when it's time, and that's why I never had no real problems, because I was willing to handle my business. But like I said, there's no glorification in that. But what I find funny is the cats that come on here and try to glorify them going to the SNY yard, and they're still with the same bullshit. Oh yeah, I knuckle up with this fool, I knuckle up with this fool. Why? You went over there to change your life. You seen that the structure over here wasn't what you was able to accept. So you went over here to better yourself, but you didn't. You joined another organization and you got it tatted on your skin. So basically you were a low life and then continue to be a low life, but yet you're on here trying to proclaim to be a good person and you're not. So that's what I understand. This is what I want to say. To the people that be on here that don't really know about all the shit that goes on, you don't gotta know everything that goes on. Just understand, when you see these guys on here that are proclaiming to be gangster and still, I'm the real gangster because I chose to change my life around, but they're not. They're still pushing the same hate, same bullshit, same blame the other side for what happens and trying to justify their movement from one yard to the next. And oh, well, now all yards are gonna be like that. It don't matter. You still shifted when shit was separated. So it's like, there's no justification. You can't make yourself seem better of a man for doing some bullshit. You went out backwards. People can say what they want about me, but I hanged. Black dude, I seen another dude on 23&1 said something like, black dudes that run with the South Side, you know what I mean? There's nothing, nobody's gonna rush him. You must not have been there when the Insanes in the 20s and other crib gangs, when they was going at it with the homies hard in the county jail. No, you still got rushed. Certain people thought about it because they knew that it would kick off a lot of shit, but I've been rushed a gang of time, but that never changed my point on anything. That was in the county jail, and I've been to Wayside, I've been to I was in Medium South for not even a second. Kick off, get up out of there, gotta sit straight back to Wayside. So I've been to the county jail the whole 2 years. This time before I went to the pen, I was in the county jail. And for the people that are with me, know that I was with my business, but that's, like I said, it's not to glorify it. I understand my mistakes in life and I accept them, but I'm not on here pushing for people to gangbang. I'm not pushing for people to get jumped out of gangs. I'm neutral. You do what you want in life, and your actions will have their own consequences. I tell people the real, it's shit gonna get hard. And even now, so because all this bullshit that's going on in prison, it's not a good time to be there. But if you gotta be there, then you just gotta handle your business. So don't listen to these 2-5s and PCs and fools that went to the SNY yard, whether your people was there or not. And there was no curfew for you. You know what time it is. You didn't have to be there. You chose to be there because you couldn't handle it on the main line. We know about certain cats, but they'll try to pull the wool over these weak individual, feeble-minded individuals' mind that don't really understand exactly what is up and what is down. I say a few words and all of a sudden it changed the perspective of a lot of men. These are the individuals that have practiced. They structure on their vocabulary. They had nothing else to do but get on there and talk, and study. So when they start utilizing these words in order to shift your mind frame, you respond to it because you're a feeble-minded individual that really don't understand that white is white and black is black and green is green. There's no gray. There's no in between. It's just, if you were in general population, the main line, okay, the main line, and you went to a SNY yard, you're no good. I don't care what you up against. Consequences to your action. This is what I want to say to the people that try to justify that shit. If you go to jail for rape, you deserve whatever you got coming to you. If you're a gangbanger and you go to jail and these cats are moving a certain way, well, you chose to identify with these cats, so you got to accept the consequences. Look at Red Star, the dude out of Sacramento that's a boxer, highly aggressive. Listen what he says. He accepts his consequences and he was knuckling it up. But anybody that has been around Bloods and Crips know that they have shit. It's called activity. So you're going to fight all the time. So you're going to learn how to fight regardless. And if you don't, then you get bitched down. But these guys still stay on the main line and understand that they have to respond. You have to understand that there's structure, and it may not be according to the way you want, but you chose to put yourself in a position to where you go to jail. So accept the consequences and stop going to these stupid ass S&Y yards and trying to act like you're the better person because you're now awake. Nah, a few vocabulary words doesn't make you awake. Awake, take care of your people. Take care of your family. Get a good job. Change your life all around. Don't kick it around individuals that still harbor that type of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's changing your life. But like I said to the youngsters, don't listen to these cats that come on here and they're still talking about bullshit. Oh, I changed my life because I went to SNY. They're still trash. Trash is trash. And I don't know any other way to cut it. You really want to do something? Join the military. Protect your country. Do something honorable. You know what I mean? If you want religion, find it. God is out there, find it. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's according to what you want. But don't listen to these dudes talking about 2-5 this and the PC yard, and we could be on this yard. We're not like the South Side, or not like that. It don't matter. You know there's trash on the yard. If there's a rapist right here, why would I want to be next to him unless I got tendencies to be a rapist? That's all I'm saying. I'm your boy Zod. I'm always gonna give it to you real, and it don't matter who like it. At the end of the day, accept your responsibility. If you go to prison for something, and you're in your car, the people that you run with move in a certain way, you chose to go there. You chose. Don't bitch out now because shit get hard. Mandatory workout, mandatory this. That's to strengthen your body in case something happened. People, oh my God, they make me. I ain't listening to no man. Not in California. Any other state, you do what you want, unless you're like Gangster Disciples and I can go on the land. They have structure, their own structure, so I can't tell you that. I ain't trying to set you up or nothing. But like I said, man, do what you do. Stay the fuck out of jail and understand that if you do go to jail, you gotta follow rules. And don't go out the easy way, man, because that shit will haunt you, especially if you've been a stand-up guy your whole life. You know what I mean? Whether positive or negative. I mean, we all got that. You know what I mean? But anyways, man, I'm your boy Zod. You already know what time it is, man. Haters gonna hate. Stay on my page, run them views up, whatever. But I'm still gonna be me. And on that note, I'm your boy Zod the Mom.